Greetings, my brothers. Welcome to Malleus Gaming. I'm your host, Malleus. And today we're going to be talking about the latest changes introduced in patch 6.0 for operations in Space Marine 2. The Datavault update has been out for a few days now, and there have been some huge nerfs to some of the more powerful abilities, and let's face it, nobody likes nerfs. But with these downgrades, there has also been a significant array of buffs introduced to pretty much all of the different classes. Now, is this enough to make up for what Saber has taken away from us? Has Space Marine 2 been ruined? Or is it in the best shape it's ever been in? Let's find out! Starting off with the tactical class, this has probably one of the more significant nerfs that Saber introduced in 6.0. The bolt rifle with grenade launcher was an absolute powerhouse, well able to devastate hordes of enemies with the rapid explosions or quickly burst down the health on enemy bosses. Combined with the perk Emperor's Vengeance, which allowed you to fully replenish your grenade launcher after eliminating a Majorist enemy, a tactical could practically clear the entire map and not have to worry about restocking ammo. Was this powerful? Immensely. Was it fun? For the tactical player, yeah, for sure. Was it oppressive? I'd argue yes. The bolt rifle with grenade launcher was so powerful that it was probably one of the most frequently used tactical weapons, leaving many of the other options to be easily cast aside. And while blowing up Xenos and heretics with a barrage of explosives really activates the almonds in that monkey brain of ours, it could also really suck the fun out of the game for your teammates. Often, there wouldn't be a whole lot left for your allies to do after you were done firing. The 6.0 patch has brought about two significant changes to help tone down the, quite frankly, overpowered nature of the grenade launcher. First, they changed the Emperor's Vengeance perk to only replenish one grenade upon activation, which means you can't just constantly spam grenades. Secondly, they reduced the damage that the grenades do. The developers stated their reasoning for this as so. Previously, the Artificer and Relic damage values were set incorrectly, with a combination of buggy damage bonuses stacking from Auspex scan. This resulted in insane damage values. While the damage reduction looks big on paper, you can still obliterate entire waves with the grenade launcher. However, with the changes below, you won't be able to one-shot bosses anymore. I gotta say, I love the transparency for why they make certain changes. Now, is this a huge change? Absolutely. Was I a huge fan of the grenade launcher? Big booms, big fun? Absolutely. Is this better for the game? You bet your sweet little tuchus it is. While the grenade launcher was nerfed hard, bolt weapons in general received damage boosts across the board, and certain perks have been improved, in order to help promote more build variety. I don't want to say that the grenade launcher was a crutch, but I know I certainly felt like taking any other weapon besides it was a waste. Save for maybe the Melta Rifle or Plasma Incinerator. The buffs now make a lot of the bolt weapons feel really good though. I say a lot because I haven't quite tried them all just yet. And I've been having a blast using the heavy bolt rifle and the auto bolt rifle, which previously felt a bit on the weak side. Also, with the changes to class perks, abilities like Radiating Impact have had a huge improvement and can really add a lot of fun to a close range playstyle, while the Plasma Boost perk helps make the Plasma Incinerator incredibly good. Add in the extra mastery points available now, and you can get all of the ammo efficiency and charge speed perks, bringing the Plasma Incinerator to a whole new level. Overall, I'm very happy with the changes to the tactical class, as I don't feel like I'm forced into using just one build anymore. More variety, more fun. Moving on to the Assault class, there were two nerfs that are arguably significant and affect the Gunstrike playstyle that is popular amongst Assault enjoyers. The first of these can be seen as a blow to the Assault's survivability, with changes done to the class perk Armor Reinforcement. Prior to the patch, Assault players could fully replenish their armor with gun strikes against bosses. Against other targets, they'd simply replenish one armor segment. Now the perk has been adjusted so it functions as intended, that being one armor segment per gun strike, even against bosses. As Saber states in their patch notes, initially, the armor restoration effect was equal to the finisher, which allowed this perk to restore all armor on any gun strike to bosses. It allowed almost infinite armor restoration. We will be watching this perk and will make adjustments in the future if this fix makes it too ineffective. Overall, I feel like this wasn't a huge change, as, to be honest, I never really noticed the increased armor replenishment against bosses before. To me, it's good that the perk is now functioning as intended, and I do like that even with this change, Saber will be keeping an eye on feedback to see if this has become a problem for Assault players. The second nerf against the Gunstrike playstyle was in the class perk Proven Efficiency, where bonus Gunstrike damage for the squad was reduced from 50% to 30%. This is a rather significant drop in damage, but as Saber states, this perk has performed much better than we originally planned, so we want to try nerfing its bonus damage a bit while buffing the adjacent Strategic Strikes perk. Squad cohesion should be pretty great as is. It should provide more build options to experiment with. Now, I get the reduced damage bonus sucks, but I think potential for more build options is key. Yes, Proven Efficiency was reduced, but a few other class perks receive some very interesting buffs. Wings of Flame now guarantees a perfect dodge when using your jump pack dodge in addition to all other effects. Combine this with Aerial Grace, which received a damage and duration buff, plus Commitment, which replenishes your jump pack charge on a perfect dodge, which is now guaranteed with Wings of Flame. And you can be rocking an amazing jump pack dodge build, constantly matrix dodging through enemy hordes and causing all sorts of carnage. This is all ignoring the other buffs that Assault received as well to the usual ground pound builds, such as Ascension's increased damage scale by difficulty, or consecutive execution, allowing for more grenades. Overall, while the reduced damage bonus on Proven Efficiency sucks, I feel like it's more than balanced out with the additional buffs to the Assault's other perks, and I'm looking forward to trying out the two standout builds available now. The Vanguard class received one of the most controversial nerfs in this latest patch, with survivability being the most significantly hurt aspect. The two class perks which were hit are Inner Fire and Adrenaline Rush. Inner Fire used to be able to proc upon any melee finisher, and help to more quickly restore the squad's abilities. Now with 6.0, this cooldown reduction only procs upon finishing a Majoris or higher enemy. Saber stated that being able to use it on weak Minoris targets made this ability a bit too effective. And to be fair, I can totally understand that since Minoris can be very easily primed for executions. I don't think this is altogether too significant though, since at higher difficulty levels, Majoris targets are going to be absolutely everywhere, and you'll have plenty of opportunities to activate this perk. Now, regarding Adrenaline Rush, I definitely can see how much of an effect this has had on the Vanguard's ability to heal. Dropping from 10% to 5% is huge, and being able to independently heal is a significant factor, especially in higher difficulties. While I understand not wanting a class to be able to just run off on their own and solo hordes, I feel like the nerf was a little bit too much. A Vanguard being able to efficiently self-heal is beneficial for the squad as a whole, as it allows for more medkits for your teammates. Overall, while I feel the Inner Fire nerf is relatively inconsequential, the Adrenaline nerf just kind of feels bad. With that said, the other buffs that the Vanguard received, like being able to grapple onto Zoanthropes, which is amazing, or the increased damage and utility with Tactical Prowess, Zone of Impact, and Shockwave, certainly help to maintain the class's potency. The last class to receive significant nerfs, the Bulwark, I feel is in an odd place. This class has a major team role as the squad healer, which thematically is not really what it should be doing. The primary reason for this is due to the Invigorating Icon class perk, where upon placing a banner, any nearby teammates have their contested health rise to its maximum, which will then let them fully heal by quickly executing a nearby stunned enemy. This is an incredibly powerful ability, and a healing Bulwark is always a very welcoming sight, especially on higher difficulties. The problem is that the Bulwark should be more of a defensive duelist, a class that can inspire its squad mates and help hold the line with its unique shield. The strong healing capabilities it has should really be reserved for something more like an Apothecary, which I really hope is going to be released as a new class. The healing abilities it has pretty much leaves it pigeonholed into the one build since healing is so important. Now, Saber is trying to push for more builds, which I wholeheartedly approve of, but I feel like they went about it in the wrong way. The buffs to the various shield-based perks look really cool, and I'm really looking forward to trying them out, but the nerf to Invigorating Icon's cooldown just feels bad. But also, kinda pointless. Ignoring the fact that as of the time of writing, the change hasn't even been properly implemented, the reasoning for the change is just off. Saber stated that, "We have noticed that this perk often encourages players to hold off on using the banner until the very last resort. We like this change in strategy, but the perk itself makes the banner overpowered, so we want to tone it down so that it requires more thoughtful timing when activating the ability." The problem with this reasoning and the cooldown nerf is that it's really not going to change how players use the Invigorating Icon banner in the first place. People are already cagey with deploying the banner, waiting for the right moment so they can most effectively heal their teammates. Increasing the cooldown by double the amount isn't really going to affect this, apart from maybe missing out on some opportunities. I feel like the intent was to prevent people from spamming the banner for healing, but from my experience in the game, and from what I've been seeing people post, spamming the banner isn't something that happens to begin with. This just feels like a pointless, ineffective nerf. If Saber wanted to change the playstyle, they could have changed it so Invigorating Icon heals over time or something, making it so you plant the banner at the start of a big fight and benefit from it over time. I think that'd be a cool use for it. Overall, while the Bulwark received some nice buffs to help promote a more shield-oriented build, I feel like people aren't going to stop taking Invigorating Icon, at least not until all classes get some form of self-healing, or a dedicated healer class like the Apothecary is added in. The Bulwark is arguably even more powerful now, but Saber's efforts to nerf the class's healing just seem rather pointless. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. You may have noticed I didn't cover any changes for the Sniper or Heavy, but that's because they pretty much just received buffs across the board, and I'd like to cover those in build videos specifically for those classes. Overall, I feel like Space Marine 2 is in a very good place. The gameplay feels really good, and more build variety within the different classes is great to see. For the most part, the nerfs were good for the game's health or are balanced out by buffs to other abilities. The only nerfs that I really feel negatively about are the ones on healing, particularly the Vanguard and Bulwark. However, Saber has shown themselves to be open to constructive feedback, and they seem passionate about the health of the game. So did Saber ruin Space Marine 2 with the changes introduced in patch 6.0? Not at all. In fact, the game is better than it's ever been. I can't wait to see what's in store for the future. If you enjoyed this, guys, please leave a like, comment, share, and all that good YouTube stuff, as it will really help the channel and get this video out there through the shadow and the warp cast by the YouTube hive mind. I hope you have a great one, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!